Just about every famous Missourian is depicted on this wall with information about who they were and why they were important. Everybody from Jean Harlow and Red Fox to Yogi Berra, Stan Musial, George Brett, and Dred Scott, who unsuccessfully sued for his freedom because he had lived in Wisconsin where slavery was illegal, but the Supreme Court decided he was a slave and could not sue. We're gonna go here next. This is, whoa, this is Back Porch Antiques. And here we go. That is a pretty great lamp with the jeweling and the overlay. That is definitely 60s and it's priced at $500. I have not really seen one like that before. So I like the lucite too. I see these in Florida and other places too, but more in Florida than anywhere else, I think. Here's some Fenton Black Rose Crest. This is a very unusual pattern to see because the black and the pink were not very compatible, and so you usually see really odd swirling colors on the inside, which is kind of fun about it. Prices are between $75 and $110 on the pieces they have here. Well, it's going to need another cord to tell whether it works, but everything is there. This trimline phone in the nice yellow color is the older one with the rotary dial. But it's a little bit slow getting back, so I think I'm going to leave it even though that's a great price. Yes, that is correct. Puerto Rico originally was spelled P-O-R-T-O rather than Puerto Rico. A credit to the United States. I don't know that we get so much credit.
Look, splendid roads through tropical scenery make motoring a joy.
I thought the roads were pretty good. On the Trail of the Sun. That was the Lydia Pinkham's guide, and Lydia Pinkham's, look at that neat biplane, was a vegetable compound that was a very popular seller that was supposed to bring you relaxation and calm and health and vigor and all sorts of stuff. Or you just gave up and took Fenton right now. Lots of view and guidebooks in the 19-teens, very popular to show you places you should go or could go, or maybe did go if you were a modern woodman of America and you weren't feeling well. You might go to the sanatorium in Colorado for rest and recuperation and perhaps a cure. There was about a 50-50 chance, but then again, the kind of Western medicine we practice now, because of the diseases and infections at the time, were also a 50-50 chance. Occupational therapy, that looks like fun. There's the X-ray department. That was a pretty new concept back then. Look at that huge machine. And our very modern dental department with no Novocaine. This dealer's got some neat old trucks. I like the Buddy L Ranch truck, although I think it's missing one piece. Chieftain lines by Wyandotte, another big toy company of the era. And then the guided missile carrier. This is Baker trucks, and this is 1950s. I think it's missing its missile. Not everyone recognizes this as a McCoy piece right away because the glazing is a lot better. This is when they started to really up their game and the quality improved. But there is the McCoy mark. Cool looking modernist design. $38 on that. Matlock sculptured daisy pattern. There is the big picture. And yes, it's supposed to look very country because this was one of their patterns that was sold outside of California where a lot of their modernist patterns did well. Harkerware made a lot of these ceramic rolling pins in the 1930s. You can see the rubber plug in the end so that you could put cold water in and that way your flour wouldn't stick. That was a lot of the appeal of that design. The Hull cat planter is one that seems to be a popular seller still these days because, well, it's awfully cute. Cat in a hat next to I assume that's a skein of yarn or thread. And this one is $29, but not on sale.
Puss in Boots.
Well, maybe you're right about Puss in Boots. I mean, it does have the hat, but did Puss in Boots play with string? It is hard to believe that people at one time took great pains to sew the end of the turkey to keep the juices in. And you could even get a free turkey lacing kit inside this packet. Now that there are some issues of political correctness with Dr. Seuss, there are certain books that are worth finding. They have a big selection of books in general in this store. You see a bunch of various things divided by categories here, and a lot of children's books. Oh yeah, no, that's an original set, and you don't see that set very often with the polka dots. Anything polka dot seems like it sells for pretty good prices, and this is, in fact, priced at $115. Next to it is a cool console bowl in the grape with the low candlestick holders, this brocade pattern. There's some interesting cocktail sets here. This is Oddball. This is Morgantown glass from the 60s, and this is a very collectible line if you can find it with those slant tops. They have this priced at $125, and I do believe it's worth that price. That's also the Morgantown set. That is the ice bucket with the 4 glasses in the Oddball, and that's priced at $125. This is very collectible stuff. You really don't see it very often. The bowling ball ice bucket is Imperial glass, and that one's priced at $250. It has all of the wasted Pilsners to go with it. More of the brocade pattern where they would frost part of the glass so that the design showed up. This is brocade oak and brocade grape. Imperial glass is a company that really did some great stuff and is best known for their candlewick clear, elegant crystal, but really did a lot of other things. And then this piece is neat. This is Cambridge Everglades. You don't see this pattern very often. There's your swans and your flamingo in the background there. English hobnail was a Depression era pattern that briefly was done as lamps, and you don't see these very often either. $300 for the pair. They really are scarce. I have to say, this dealer has a lot of old school elegant Depression glass, but they have interesting pieces that we really don't run into anymore. Huge Fenton lamp. In any other color besides milk glass, this would be double the price. This is priced at $195. Well, the owner of the shop explained to me that this dealer contributed some of these for photographs for the Mauzy's Depression Glass Guide, which was a big deal in its time. These Fostoria quadrangle candlesticks I think are just great. Love the color, $90 for the set. She's actually shown at the National Depression Glass Show in Colorado, which is a big deal. You have to be invited. Here's an old Tiffin glass sign from the 1960s. They have some pretty serious dealers in this town. When Mark's Toys got away from the tin toys and started making plastic toys in the 60s, this is one of them. This one is a Silly Sammy ride on top, and not only did it wheel around, but it had this great sound maker. They have some advice for us. This Tiffin glass here, the green and the yellow do both glow under a black light because they have a little bit of that uranium oxide. I always forget, is it the uranium oxide or the uranium salt? It's one or the other depending on how they did it. We know it's uranium anyway.
That's the Tiffin piece down there.
Oh yes, oh very pretty. I like that with the gilding. And it's nice that it has handles. And then I've always been partial to these little Cambridge sets with the cordials and the little cocktails. Sometimes you see them with the metalwork for chrome craft, but sometimes you see them just by themselves. And this is the very dark black amethyst color, a little harder to find. Only $40 on that set. That seems like a very good price for what it is. So how long have you had the store?
It was 17 years, October the 1st. We were dealers here. It'll be 20 years February.
So you loved it so much you took it over?
Yes.
No, that's awesome.
We had a yellow one in here, and we still have it. It is over on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
This looks just like it, only it's in blue, and this one's in amber. And this is what we have.
Oh, yes, I see, yeah.
This one.
Indiana glass, and this is an earlier piece, and oh, how pretty, yes, with the splayed feet. I would think that the blue would be more desirable. It does look like the same mold and the same pressings and the same lines.
It does not fluoresce.
Right, blues occasionally do, but they almost always have to be 19th century because they used antimony, and they took that out of glassmaking largely in the 20th century. Very interesting. Well, and part of the fun of this is there's a little bit of mystery, and you do have to find out more things, and you keep learning. I mean, isn't that what's great about this business? You've been doing it for 20 years here, and it looks like you're not tired of it.
No.
You have a couple of interesting jewelry pieces in there, too.
Juliana.
The Juliana, yeah.
I actually found those in the Juliana book.
Oh yeah, yeah, those are some of the better ones, especially those color combinations are really, really desirable. Very cool. And we've got Hi-O Silver. I like the Lone Ranger, the neckerchief, that's good. Next to it is a Caro Nan purse, and this one looks like it's St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. They would always put a penny on the top of this type, and usually it's the year that the purse was made. There it is. Yes, the station, Caro Nan. So yeah, that would have been the company they made it for, because they did them for people all over. And it was a woman named Carol and a woman named Nancy, and they made these in Mississippi in the early 70s. Wow. And they started just doing it by hand, and then it became a big thing. So they had to have this way that they could sort of screen print with buildings, and then they would put your store in. So that's why that matches that. That is cool. Yeah, I got onto these years ago because I'm originally from Seattle, and I noticed that Japanese tourists would always buy these every time I got them because they had lots of American writing. $55. That's about what they've gotten to for the big ones in good condition now. Oh, these are interesting. This is why people collect doorknobs. This one is the city of St. Louis, and it says the common seal. So this was from some civic building there. Yes. Wow, that's really neat. I've seen a few that had various city emblems and things in them. That is really something different. And 125, that's about what I've seen them go for.
I always tell people to look up, look down.
Yeah.
Because that's your hidden things that you don't normally see.
Exactly. Everyone shops from their eyes to about their waist, and they don't look above and below. And sometimes, you know, in a place like this, especially, the big and interesting things have to go up high where there's room, and something heavy may be down on the bottom that's really neat. Yes. So very good advice. Look everywhere. Yes. You said that this person, they went on the inaugural cruise and then started collecting this stuff?
They were a professional musician.
Oh.
Aboard the Norway.
Oh, they actually played on board. Yes. Oh, how neat. Those opera glasses are really neat with the French enameling and everything. Yeah, those are beautiful. Well, you have some really nice stuff. And tell us the name of the store again.
Back Porch Antiques.
Back Porch Antiques. Very good. Here in Cape Girardeau. This was Beverly, and she gave us a nice little tour and showed us some really cool things that I might have missed otherwise. We're a little early for this place, but apparently the antique offerings here are about to expand, because this is going to be Main Street Antiques. And here is some information. Hello.
And I'm Rhonda.
Oh, and this is Rhonda. Well, I'm very excited that there's going to be another antique store in town.
Well, good. I'm glad.
When are you planning on opening?
January 6th.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'll have to come back and see you then.
Yes, absolutely. You do so. This is one of our vendors moving in. They've got
wonderful.
Lots of things, and
oh, that's very exciting. Well,
we're in the midst of moving in right now.
Oh, it's so cool seeing a new store open here. Well, thank you very much. Isn't that cool? We ran into her, so we got a little sneak preview. Now we have a place to come when we come back. Okay, through the center of town we go, and there is the courthouse, and we are headed to one more store. Just behind these folks is the antique store. We're headed into the Spanish Street Mercantile.
Old car.
Yeah, this is neat. Here's a good prop for you. That's pretty cool. Look at that little light car from the 1930s. This would have been one of the first economy cars. This is a Willys Americar. This was the company that ended up getting the contract for the Jeep and did very well with it. In fact, so well that Jeeps are still made today, and now they're painting the name Willys on the side. Well, this is the reason why. This is a cute little spice set. It is a double stack, and you don't usually see that. They're usually just all arranged in a row with the maiden watering her flowers. Right out of about 1940. Most of the stuff in here actually is truly vintage. It's just displayed in a way that is more like you would see it in a house rather than antique booths crammed full of stuff. Longhorns. I am always in the market for Longhorns. I don't see a price tag on that set though. They do have some vintage denim here, and whenever it says reclaimed, well, you know that it's a vintage piece. 30% off. Let's take a look in here for just a moment. A lot of bottles. The gem push button razor in the back is interesting just because it is the original store display, but it's not entirely complete. Chauffeur badges, people's work IDs. The very little set of toy dishes from Acro Agate just contained the pitcher and 2 cups, so it was just tea for 2. That's from the 1930s. I just bought this same piece at a flea market in Indiana. This is Cal Originals here, the little leaf dish. They only have 14 on it here. If I hadn't just bought one, I'd probably buy this one. And then here is a classic, the bowling ball decanter, and inside it has my favorite, the push-button shot glasses from about 1940 to 50. It's priced at $55 and it's in the green, which is unusual. That actually is a price worth considering buying. All of this jadeite is vintage. You notice the colors are different. McKee made jadeite first. Theirs is a little lighter color. It's from the 1930s and it glows under a black light because it's a little more yellowish, and they used uranium to get that. The 1950s pieces by Fire King do not fluoresce under a black light, but they are every bit as collectible. Pretty good price here on the 4 Scotty tumblers, only $18, so that's just over $4 each from the 1940s. Split bamboo fly rods in their original cases are desirable with fishing collectors. Here's a small outfit here. It's missing most of the flies, but it's got everything else. And then this one down on the bottom as well. If someone is missing out of your creche, they have this whole bunch of individual nativity figures from various creches over the years for only $2 each. I look for the Italian ones in particular. And of course the baby Jesus is the most often missing. Victorinox was the company who bought Wegener, and Victorinox still makes the Swiss Army knife. This is a big display and you can put it in motion. But this one doesn't work, unfortunately. This is a really nice small-sized type cabinet, and this would be handy if you were a jewelry collector because you can pull out the drawers and they go sideways a little bit. Neat design, priced at $295, but they are 30% off. So that would actually be around $200, which is a pretty fair price for what it is. We'll see if they have anything else that we need to have up here. The baby scale is cute with the little lamb decal from the late 40s. The blue dog in Arco, 1960s or early 70s. That is a very strange color for a dog. Sprinkle pin. This is a laundry sprinkler in plastic fantastic. Jay and Bunny Originals Hollywood. Wow, 39 cents when it was new, $12.50 today. Typically we see these plastic laundry sprinklers from the day. This is before you had steam irons, or in case you didn't have a steam iron. Oh, that's cool. That's from the early 30s, yes. Originally that would have been electrified, and that was a massage device. It's missing its cord though. I think I still have a few of the cups for these. You have to put the cup in because the switch is under there and it won't work without it. So how do they have it priced? Without, well, they said they tested it and it works. They have it priced at $140, which is pretty typical price. Oh, the Blanco Blue, yes. 43, yeah. Those are going up because they cost $60 new at Blanco now. Ah, our third one of the day, $20.
This one's cheaper than the other one. That was the same handles. Ooh, we have a nasty...
Yeah, see, the seals, you can find them with a good seal, as much as we see those, so wait for the one with the good seal. I love blue mirrored tables. This one is actually a blue reverse painted glass rather than mirrored. $55. Ah, that's Bischoff glass. You can tell because it's got elongated bubbles, and it was a decanter. Unfortunately, if it had its stopper, that would be a great piece. The Empoli isn't bad, considering that it's two-tone. That's a little different. Oh, very cute. Satin glass 1930s boudoir lamp set, and then a little desk lamp in front of it. The desk lamp needs some help, but the boudoir lamps are $65 for the pair, which is perfectly fair. Then there's this gal, but you don't usually see it with the woman with the long skirt. $45 on that.
How much am I?
Oh gosh, well, these days I would expect $225, $250, $300, $275. Yeah, we're in the ballpark. These interesting pebble art pieces from the 1960s. They've got $75 on the pair of these, which these days is a sell-it price. This piece is Phoenix glass in an old consolidated lovebirds mold, but you can see that the birds were once pink. Your baby needs an Ames style fiberglass chair. Well, here is the high chair version from the 1950s. This is pretty cool. I have not seen one of these like this before. It is priced at $105 and it says it's Caldac fiberglass. That is pretty cool. Your baby can be a modernist from birth on. This bagatelle was from the Chicago World's Fair. All right, we're gonna go up the stairs and see what more there is. This place is bigger than it looks from the outside. A 1960s sofa with an interesting shape. It's knockoff of Adrian Pearsall, I would say, in deluxe pleather. Feels like walking into someone's banquet room in this hall. These old Supreme Court reporter law books and this sort of thing, mainly used now for decorating, just the way they've done it. It's been popular for a while to take chicken incubators and turn them into tables. This is an example of that, priced at $195. The fun thing is that you actually could turn this into storage display, and then you would have room on top to set another piece of furniture or a shelf unit. We are far away from a place that totem poles should be a thing. So let's see who did this, if anybody. Ah yes, Kiana. This is basically tourist wear from Alaska, but it's only $14. And it is wood, and it does have the signature. So because I sell in places where this would sell for maybe as much as triple that, I'm gonna take it. A lot of furniture and things in here, and there's some nice pieces. It's a little dark for filming, but it's atmospheric. Please do check out our other channels. We have the Antique Nomad Live channel, where we do occasionally live sales and after parties, after premieres on our regular channel, and other live content, and also the Antique Nomad Shorts. If you're looking for short form content, that's where you'll find it. All right, we're heading back down the stairs, and the gentleman said he had something he wanted to show us. Oh yes, and they have a little ice cream parlor here. How neat.
Here's the map of where we were.
Ah yes, there we are. This is interesting. Cairo got its second bridge in the 1950s, and the bridges actually took all the business away. Cairo is a ghost town now, with a few amazing buildings left in the middle of nothing. At one time, state teachers' colleges were called normal schools. This is the Southeast Missouri State Teachers College, which is now Southeast Missouri University, and that is what a lot of people in town here are involved with these days. This entire set of 1920s era Meyer china is $550. $425 on the public telephone sign. It's nice to see one we know is real. There's reproductions of these. They're not going to have this obvious wear from age. You can't really fake that. And it's also heavier gauge steel. Double-sided flange sign. The bus driver pulled over, pulled out the stop sign, and someone didn't, so now it's here for us. This one looks like it's from about 1960, and this, double-sided again, is priced at $65. However, it is 30% off, as are a lot of the things in here. They've got hubcaps and tools and old traps and old tins and old crates and other barn finds. And a private drive sign. I buy signs like this because people want to put them up in their private drive now. This one's embossed. It's about 60 years old. It's going to be about $45 with the discount. This seems like a bargain here. The red Bakelite handles, $90 for the whole set, including the box. Looks like it's a service for about 12, which means you're getting 36 pieces at under $3 a piece. Set of 10. So 30 pieces, still about $3 a piece. Joy. There's a cellar. There's a lot in the cellar too. Oh, Zeno sees another vacuum. And it's orange. I don't know, that looks like you. And it's a dust buster. I don't think you've got one of those. I don't even think they were called that yet. This looks like it's from the early 70s. $20.
What is it? You hold it back. Is it a stick?
It's a Eureka. It's like a little stick.
Huh, interesting.
Actually, a hand vacuum, yes. This is why you do not put brown treasure craft in the dishwasher. It is an unglazed brown, meaning no clear coat over it. So if you rub it off, it's gone. I recently sold a Wink apron to a woman in Colorado whose last name is Wink. Nice Formica set. Yeah, one lid missing on these. These are Japanese. They're supposed to look like the DeForest of California stuff of the same era, and actually helped put a lot of companies like that out of business because it was lightweight and cheaper and cute. Oh yes, if you needed to restore your blue or pink bathroom, this would be the place. Why do people buy old tractor seats? Sometimes it's to mount on, sometimes it's to use as seats again. They don't just hang them on the walls. This is an old Buckeye from Akron. Priced at $125, the seat alone is worth that. Well, that was a lot of fun. We hit all the places in downtown Cape Girardeau. There are some other places out on the edge of town. I don't know if we'll have time for them today, but it's a good reason to come back here.
If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.